Okay, the next thing we are going to do is get all the players. In order to get all the players, here you see we are just returning a list with nothing. So this time we are not going to return a list, instead we are going to return a list. Here we can just say response model. We can define our response model as list of player. So we are just returning list of player. Previously our response model was simple player response. This time we are just returning a list of player, therefore I'm just this time I'm just cutting this simple. Let's make another response, and I need to import that list from list. Here below this simple player response, let me copy and paste it here. Just cut this simple. I'll explain why I'm just making two different response. This one, let me just make a comment with expanded team. Actually without. Simple player response is without expanded team, and here this will be with expanded team. So basically what it is going to do, we are going to make relationship with player and team. One team can have multiple players. So when we'll define something like team, in this simple player response we are just going to return team id, that is an integer, so just like this. But when we are going with extended version of player response, here I am just going to return a dictionary with all the fields of a team, something like id, team name, something like that. Okay, if you didn't understand this, then it is totally fine. When we are going to create relationship, then you can understand better. Okay, that's totally fine. Just let me import it here, and let me copy this list of player and return from this function as well. Here we are going to just give this session, since we are getting all the players from the database query. Here we are going to use select from SQLModel model import select. Okay, then from player actually our query will be changed throughout time, so therefore I'm just giving the query like this. After all, we are going to change, we are going to include team id or match id, something like that. If someone provide a team id, then we'll return all the players of a particular team. Here let's create an instance of players is equal session dot exact. Here I need to pass query and then all. This all mean this is going to return a list of players, so let me just use it here. And if not players, if you don't find any player, then it will raise an exception, http exception, and the status code will be status 404, http 404 not found, and it will have a detail that will say no players for this given filters. Okay, now let me copy this. I'm going to create another route to get a particular player. Here we are getting all players, but this time we are going to get a single player. Therefore we need to provide this player ID, and this is going to be a dynamic field. Every player has a unique ID, so by using that ID we are going to get that player from the database. Let me make it only player, not a list of player. So here instead of query I'm just going to make it a statement. I'm just renaming it. And here instead of all I'm just going to provide where player dot id. Here before this session I'm just going to give this player and id. This is going to be integer, and this player id, make sure this player id is same as this one. Okay, player, okay, it's totally fine, is equal player id. Let me make it singular. If no player, then it will give another exception, that is no player found. And here I'm going to return player instead of players. Now I'm going to debug my project. Let's see it is working properly or not. Now it is running successfully. Here in the player tag you see we have two more routes. One is for getting all the players. Let me try it out. We are getting all the players. We currently have 3 players. Let's try in the database. Go to player, we have only 3 players. Okay, then let's try with player id. Let's try it out. Let's try id on. It is giving an error. What is that? Okay, the problem is here, this where clause should be here, not in after the exec. Here we need to provide first. Previously it was all, this time it is first. We are going to get the first player since the session exec return a list of record. We don't want that. Now once again try to get a particular player with a particular id. This is id on. Let's try id 2. We are getting player successfully. Let's try id 3, actually 4. We don't have this player. You see in the database we don't have any player with id of 4, therefore we are getting no player found. Okay, let's try id 41. Whatever we provide, if we don't have the player in the database, we are going to get this no player found. Okay,